Hey lovelies, how's it going? Hope all is well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about the story of Renee Batch, who is an American missionary from Bedford, Virginia. Allegedly, she is a U.S. missionary that is accused of pretending to be a doctor, and now they report that over 100 kids have died in the hands of her.
Renee Bach and her daughter Selah are only in the U.S. for a few weeks before going back to live in Uganda full-time. Their time is spent playing with the new family dog and fundraising for her nonprofit organization Serving His Children.
Now, according to their website, Serving His Children plans to end malnutrition in families and communities. They partner with the government in Uganda to provide inpatient therapeutic care for children suffering from severe acute malnutrition. They also do in-home feeding for malnutrition kids and pregnant lactating mothers. They also have sustainable development programs.
Our focus is malnutrition, so we do preventative care programs and then also treatment services.
Now, according to reports, the issue is that Renee Batch is a woman that is serving that decided to play doctor with children in her care despite lacking a medical degree. She allegedly took them from acute hospitals to treat them at her missionary headquarters, Serving His Children. To no one's surprise, several of them passed away. What I found was very sad. If you look onto the website's page and look at their video on their home page, you will see the social worker saying how the parents were not educated enough to understand the importance of malnutrition and the importance of the care.
These families come to us without hope. They come to us when their children are very, very sick. Most of them, they think that their children are going to die. And the problem that families are facing is that they lack education about malnutrition.
Even Renee herself said a lot of the parents lack that knowledge.
And so a lot of malnutrition is due just to lack of education and parents that really don't know what's healthy for their children. In villages that are really far removed don't have access to healthy foods, not because they're not actually in Uganda, but because they've maybe grown them and then sold them for money, for rent, or for buying water.
So Renee started this all in 2007. She wanted to set up a non-governmental organization called Serving His Children in Uganda after she went on a visit there. According to an article on All Africa, they are claiming that it's 100 children that have died while receiving treatment at her non-government organization, but only 2 mothers have sought legal action against Batch after their children died in her facility. The mother said they were led to believe that Miss Batch was a medical doctor and that her home was a medical facility. Then they also said that Miss Batch was often seen around the facility wearing a white coat and a stethoscope. Now, according to the organization, they said that at no time did the founder present herself as a doctor. They did say that in 2014, they put on their Instagram account Miss Batch starting an IV on a child at the center. They actually addressed the claims that they were taking kids from the actual hospitals to treat them at her headquarters, and their response was it was very common for children to travel from distant districts to their facilities. And they said these children were either referred by the health center or they heard by word of mouth. The only children that they said were brought over to their center were the kids that were outpatient out to that program.
So far, more than 3,400 families have been served since 2011 through medical evaluation, therapeutic foods, and education. Bach says these are needs that were not previously met in the country.
This is the actual court document, and this is the 2 ladies that are suing Renee Batch and Serving His Children. Now, from what people have found throughout the internet, you know, Renee only has a high school diploma, you guys. She has no other training besides that and her CPR certification. What I also felt was sad is the fact that they did not deny that kids did pass away at their facility. In their press release, they also added, since Serving His Children began offering nutritional services in 2010, of course, you know, they served over 3,500 kids, and they said their recovery rate is 96%. They said they are thankful for a high recovery rate, but it does not diminish the grief caused by the deaths due to preventable conditions such as malnutrition. They never gave a number, but they did say that they grieved and they mourned with all the families that suffered a tragedy. Now, what I found was crazy that if you go on Twitter and you use the hashtag Renee Batch, you will see people speaking out that did survive, and they said that they are now disfigured because of these treatments. Here is one young man. He is left with an irreversible physical and mental disability. He was botched during the medical treatment from their facility. According to this facility, they reached out and they said that this boy is now mentally ill and cannot talk. They also added that allegedly it's all Renee's work. Then they posted that the family just want help for their children and the community members. So I'm assuming that someone is over there because they're using the What's Up app. I'm assuming some US people are over there. They're trying to figure out who had help at this facility and how they can help the kids over there that are disfigured. It was another young lady or young girl that got treatment at that facility and is now disfigured. This young little girl, her story was actually used in the news from that facility, and they were basically saying how she had a botched blood transfusion, and now the young lady, she has a horrible reaction and she lives with all these scars. She actually got scars in her head. It's just really sad, and they said that her body is just permanently disfigured. Now, when you research this article, you will see a lot of reports that says white savior this, white savior that, and they were talking about how in Africa they believe that they have this white savior syndrome. They like for them to come over there and to save them. Now, this is not my words. This is what is in these reports, and this is what is going out there. Now, another white woman came out and actually spoke about this situation. She has also been labeled as a white savior, and she spoke about her and Renee doing the same type of work, how they compare and how they contrast.
With another young white American woman, both of us were fresh out of undergraduate school, and we both came from an evangelical background and had access to funding from our churches and from people in the church community. So it was not that we were more qualified or that we were actually the best fit to be in charge or to be co-founding this, but because we had the power and privilege to do so. If there's anything that we as foreign nationals need to do moving forward, it is to remain accountable to the people in the country and cultures we're working in. We need to be held accountable. We need to own up when we make mistakes, and we need to commit to doing better.
Now, a volunteer came out and spoke, and they basically said that initially they admired Renee for her sacrifice and her tireless commitment to helping the children battle that. And it wasn't until 2014 that their perspective started to change. They said that it was reported by many parties that Renee was actively practicing medicine on children that came to the center. Although she had medical professionals on staff, she herself, with no medical training, started to choose to actively treat them and respond to serious medical conditions of the needs of the children in crisis. Now, according to previous volunteers and former staff, they did say that Renee herself would talk openly about how much she enjoyed hands-on medical care. And an unknown number of children have died at that center, but the proper protocol was never followed when it came to those children. The volunteer said a good number of kids lost their lives due to serious negligence. According to ABC News 13, they noted that Batch was supposed to go to court in March of 2019. But she never showed up to respond to the charges against her. In 2015, the district health officer had closed her facility and ordered them not to do any treatment on any other kids because of these two reports. And according to their website, you will not see any references to Batch anymore. The question that many people have, will this lady be prosecuted? Like, will anything happen to her legally? And what I did find on a report is that this happened a lot. A lot of people go overseas and do this that do not have the proper training, and they do not get punished for it. So it's all up in the air. No one really knows. Here's a young lady that is speaking out about it and her thoughts and her opinions because she did research on these type of people.
And there's very little possibility to render accountability for any kinds of unintended consequences for the actions of large development organizations as well as individuals. There's nothing new about people with no medical training going from the United States or Canada or Australia or other countries in Europe or elsewhere even to go and help in hospitals or to go start their own clinics. This is something that I've been researching since 2011, and it's very common. And there's a sense that the people that are going are sort of socialized from an early age to think, I'm supposed to give back, I am supposed to help, it's my obligation, but also later, it's my right to do
As
that.
of today, I have not seen Renee speak of any incident that happened. I do know that they are saying allegedly that she is scrubbing her image on this online, on social media, and through the website. I don't know how true that is. You know, I just felt this story was very, very sad, and I wanted to share it to this channel, and I want to know your thoughts and your opinions about this subject. Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.